Alright guys, Raw Rustler here, and this is my NXT, I nearly said WWE, NXT Takeover Respect review. A pay-per-view that I believe in my predictions I didn't seem too high on, and please don't get this, please don't have a misconception. I was excited for this, but really only for the main event, and you can understand why, right? But after watching the show this morning at 10 minutes past 6, I had to get up early and watch it because I wasn't going to watch it last night because I had college today and it was a long day today, so I decided to just get up early. I was pretty entertained. I think that this really, probably the second best NXT show this year. I think it was better than Rival, better than Unstoppable, but not as good as Brooklyn, obviously. So I guess we should just get into it. We started the night off with the first semi-final in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Samoa Joe and Finn Balor against the Mechanics, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. The thing I liked about this matchup was that Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder weren't just squashed. And they shouldn't be, because they are genuine contenders to the tag team titles. And as I said in my predictions, they should get a tag title shot. They defeated the Vaudevillains in the quarterfinals, I think. So yeah, that legitimate contenders. A few things I liked. A few things I liked specifically were the really good spot where Finn Balor's nearly got to Samoa Joe. Dash Wilder goes, pulls Samoa Joe off the apron, runs in the ring, so the referee actually gets to throw Joe out, and Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder then double team Finn Balor. I think that's just a really smart spot, and it's an easy way to get heat for the heels. The Mechanics are good. I really do like the Mechanics. I can't overstate it. They're probably my second favourite NXT tag team behind Jason Jordan and Chad Gable, and then the Vaudevillains after those. But in the end, Finn Balor and Samoa Joe won. It was my prediction anyway, because I think they needed a strong face in the final, regardless of who won the other semi-final. It was basically, the whole story of the match was Finn Balor's leg, and Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, I keep saying Scott, I can nearly go Scott Dash. Dawson and Wilder basically worked on Balor's leg. There was some good leg work in there, and it basically put in the idea: will Balor be ready for the final? If he's, can he even compete in the final? Kind of like that Daniel Bryan WrestleMania 30 sort of syndrome. But in the end, Finn Balor and Samoa Joe win. Joe hits the Muscle Buster. Balor hits the coup de grace. Kind of gets injured off it as well. So they advance on to the finals. A very good tag match. I really enjoyed it. I think it was very fun, and I think that was just the main thing. It was really fun. I gave it 3¼ stars. I think that these guys put on a hell of a good start. It was a hell of a good start, that's better. The second match on the card was the next semi-final, and I really do think they probably should have split it up a little bit, because, we don't just want to see tag match. But Jordan and Gable versus Rhino and Corbin. I think this one was better than the opener. I think this one had more near falls. I think it was closer. I was on the edge of my seat more. I didn't really know who was going to win. My prediction being Chad Gable and Jason Jordan was wrong. A little bit annoyed because I really don't think anybody wanted Rhino or Corbin to win. But considering they had two big faces in Joe and Balor in the final, they needed two big heels. Rhino and Corbin were the only really big heels, because in this matchup, I kind of feel like Jordan and Gable became faces because everybody was behind them. We were all there, ready to see them win, and I was there this morning. I wanted to mark out if they'd won, to be honest, but they didn't get that victory. The spot of the match has to be the reversal of the... basically, Jordan, I think Gable went for a head scissor, essentially, and Baron Corbin counters it. Boom, end of days, 1, 2, 3. Rhino and Baron Corbin advance on to the the final, sorry. That puts me 1-1 in my predictions. Rhino also gored Jason Jordan halfway through near the end of the match, which was awesome. I would like to see Jason Jordan and Chad Gable go for the tag titles at some point, I think. Overall, I gave it 3¼ stars. I think nice, good tag matches to start off the show, and probably better than what you're going to see in a normal WWE pay-per-view. Next up, we had the Divas, and not the Iron Woman Divas, because that's the main event. Yes. Score 1 for the Divas. Dana Brooke versus Asuka, and I believe I was saying it wrong then in my predictions, because they kept saying Asuka, and I kept thinking, what did I say in my predictions? Asuka, yeah. Dana Brooke versus Asuka, I nearly did it again. Dana Brooke versus Asuka. This is about what you expected. I nearly said Emma Brooke. Emma was at ringside, doing what you expected, getting involved a few times. Cowardly in the end, though, because Asuka goes up to her at the end after the matchup, after she's beaten Dana Brooke. She beats her with... Basically, I believe this match did very well, because I think it showed everything. It did what it needed to do. NXT are really good with their debuts. They've had some really good debuts, and this one's a pretty good one. Asuka basically showed her skills. She showed her, basically, striking skills, she showed her wrestling skills, and finally her submission skills, as she made Dana Brooke tap out to a crossface chicken wing, which he's calling the Asuka lock. I don't know what... I mean, it's Canna, isn't it? So I don't know what her finisher was on the indies, but hey-ho. Another cool thing, I really liked the armbar. The armbar transition she did was really good. But anyway, after the match, Asuka walks up to Emma. Emma's just sort of like, no, leave me alone. Yeah, go away. And Asuka's just like, got ya. And so I give it 2.5 stars. I think it did fine for what it was. It was what I expected, to be honest. Next match on the card, Tyler Breeze versus Apollo Crews. This match I didn't talk about too much in my predictions, and I didn't really notice the quality of athletes we had in this match until I watched it. And Apollo Crews and Tyler Breeze are really good athletes, and they had a really solid matchup. Do I think it was incredible? No. Do I think it was better? No. But was it good? It was good. I enjoyed it. I gave them 2.5 stars. Probably Tyler Breeze's weakest NXT pay-per-view match. But one thing I really did like, Tyler Breeze hit a supermodel kick. Apollo Crews went for the standing moonsault, and something that I think was really smart is that Tyler Breeze blocked it, so he grabbed his leg. And I think what Apollo Crews did, what was really intelligent, was that he thought, I'm not going to be able to hit this. So he didn't finish Tyler Breeze with the moonsault. He instead finished him with a back suplex bomb, which is basically a Blue Thunder bomb. 1, 2, 3, Apollo Crews gets the biggest win in his WWE career. Awesome for Ura Nation. I hope he can move on from here. And maybe go for the title. I would see him possibly being one of the next contenders after Corbin and Joe. But solid matchup, 2.5 stars. That puts me 3-1 in my prediction because I predicted Asuka and Corbin and Jordan and Gable. So, move on to the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and I think what was awesome about this one was just the little things. Eden doing the announcement of the match was very smart, because Eden, if you don't know, Eden Styles is the daughter-in-law of Dusty Rhodes, as she is married to Cody Rhodes, tied the knot in September of 2013. So that was really smart. I think that having the Dusty Rhodes pictures on the stage was smart. The trophy looks weird and kind of beautiful. And this matchup was very good, actually, to be honest. I think it was probably the best tag match of the three. I think Corbin and Rhino, did a lot of work again on Balor's knee, and we knew again that would be the story. However, and this is something weird because I'm criticising Finn Balor, his selling over the knee was quite inconsistent. And I don't normally criticise Finn Balor, because I believe he's the best wrestler in the world. But that seemed to put me off a little bit. But in the end, I believe this one was fairly obvious to predict. I had to re-predict this, obviously, because Jordan and Gable weren't here. So I predicted Balor and Joe. Balor and Joe win. Same finish as well. Muscle Buster, coup de grace. 1, 2, 3. And the thing after the match with Cody and Dusty and Eden and all their family coming out to congratulate Balor and Joe was very nice. It was kind of beautiful. The statement from the speech from Cody Rhodes was really beautiful. It really encapsulates what an incredible man Dusty Rhodes was. While I'm always going to say this, his booking decisions were weird, he was an incredible man, and he's one of the WWE greats. So it's a shame that such a legend has passed away at a time where his creation, really, NXT, is thriving so much. So I gave the match 3.5 stars, but I did love that little Cody bit at the end because it was short, sweet, straight to the point, and emotional. And now, the first ever Divas main event in WWE history. 30-minute Iron Man match. Well, it should be called an Iron Woman match. Sasha Banks versus Bayley for the NXT Women's title. This was freaking awesome. Wow. Okay, I believe in my prediction. I said I didn't know if this would be better than the Brooklyn match. If you remember, I gave that match so much credit that I actually had to do another video, which was top 5 matches of the weekend, and then I did another one that was top 5 matches of the year. That's how much I liked that match. Was this match better? I'm not decided on that yet. This is going to be a very, very tough one to call. By the end of the year, I will decide it. But this match, if it's not the best match of the year, it's the second best match of the year. Bayley and Sasha Banks just freaking nailed it again. Everything was beautiful in this matchup. It felt epic. It felt important. You had Lita, Stephanie, Charlotte, and Becky at ringside. That just makes it feel important. You had the long announcement. You had the good entrances. Izzy, Bayley's biggest fan, was at ringside. And it was just an incredible match. So, let me just run you through how the match went. So, it started off with a stare down. And before the stare down even finished, we had a "This is awesome" chant, "This is wrestling." The match got a match of the year chant, NXT Divas, WWE Divas. This got so many chants that it was just boom. Oh, it was great. And the first really cool moment in the match I noticed was when Bayley went to shake Sasha Banks' hand. She shook her hand. Sasha Banks goes to embrace her, and Sasha Banks, boom, pulls Bayley's hair to the ground, and that's what a heel does. Congratulations, Sasha Banks. Still, Sasha Banks is the most consistent worker in WWE, by far. She is so consistent. She doesn't have a bad match. She doesn't have a bad match. Right, Rollins can have a bad match. Owens can have a bad match. Cesaro can have a bad match. Sasha Banks can, and she is 24 years old. 24. Ridiculous. So the first fall of this match came when Sasha Banks and Bayley were in the corner. Bayley goes to give her a strike in the corner. Sasha Banks moves out of the way. The referee nearly gets hit. Sasha Banks does the same thing nearly hits the referee. Sasha Banks gets in the way of the referee, kind of like this. Pokes Bayley in the eye. Rolls her up. 1, 2, 3. Sasha Banks gets the first fall. Very nice fall. You needed to establish that she's a heel, even though everybody loves her. Everybody loves Sasha Banks. If you're a wrestling fan at the moment, you probably... No. Let me rephrase that. If you're a hardcore wrestling fan at the moment, you probably love Sasha Banks. If you're a misogynist pig, you probably don't. Look at you, Greg Valentine. Who works backstage? Honestly. So, it was a really good smart fall, made Sasha Banks look like a genius and a bit of a bad girl. Second fall, we knew Bayley would have to pull one back, and she did in spades. Sasha Banks goes up to the top rope. Bayley pulls her off. Bayley to belly. 1, 2, 3. Bayley gets a fall back. We got one apiece. Very nice. I liked that part. The third fall was, again, very smart. I love the booking of these falls. Honestly, they were very smart because it made Sasha Banks look like a really good heel. Bayley looked like an ultra face. Because that's what it is. It's baby face versus mega heel. It's basically like John Cena versus Kevin Owens. It's babyface, mega heel. Even though we all love Sasha Banks, alright? We all love her to death. I have a shirt of her, so why would I not love her? And the third fall came when Sasha Banks threw Bayley. They were outside the ring, going up the ramp, and I kind of knew they were going to have a count out at this point. I thought they'd count both of them out. But I liked this booking better. Sasha Banks maliciously throws Bayley into the LED board, runs back in the ring. Bayley's counted out. It is 2-1 to Sasha Banks. And remember, she can win on a count out in an Iron Man match. And what I loved perfectly about this booking was how Sasha Banks sells how proud she is of winning a fall by count out. She's in the ring just celebrating that she won a fall by count out. And Bayley's biggest fan, Izzy. If you don't know Izzy, you've probably seen the videos of Izzy. She's been on NXT a few times. Bayley's family were also there. Izzy is crying at this point. Izzy is crying. And I don't know if this was... I assume this wasn't scripted. This is a little girl crying at wrestling. That's so beautiful. Like, that sounds so weird. Like, but that's what wrestling does. Wrestling affects us emotionally. And this match just did that, and apparently Izzy felt very emotional about that bit there. Okay, so the 4-4, we knew Bayley had to get back into it, and she did. Sasha Banks really worked on Bayley's back after the LED board thing, and she really did. And Bayley sold the back injury pretty well, better than Balor's selling of the knee, if I'm honest. Locks her in a few Boston Crabs, she did those pretty well. Bayley rolls her up, kind of like, sort of, I can't remember what the name of the cover is, I'm so sorry. It's not a jackknife cover, it's kind of the opposite. She rolls her up anyway, 1, 2, 3, Bayley gets the fall, it's 2 apiece, and we move into the last 5 minutes, which was, it was excellent, it was so good. The last 5 minutes were, there was just on and on and on and on and on, and you had no idea. You had no idea what was going to happen. And look, I did really predict Bayley was going to win, and I was pretty sure Bayley was going to win, but watching this match, I forgot that. I thought Sasha Banks was actually going to win the belt back, and I wouldn't have minded, of course I wouldn't. But, honestly, really good the last 5 minutes. Which started with Bayley hitting Bayley to belly. Oh no, basically, Sasha Banks locks in a bank statement on Bayley. Bayley gets out of it. Bayley puts a bank statement on Sasha Banks. A little bit of turnabout's fair play. But Sasha Banks gets out of it. You have Sasha Banks who locks in another bank statement, actually with the backstabber pullover this time, and I love looking at the bank statement. It is such an awesome finisher. And Bayley eventually hits a Bayley to belly off the second rope to Sasha Banks, and that was where I thought the fall was going to come. Cover, 1, 2, Sasha Banks kicks out, and at that point I was, Jesus, alright, maybe Sasha Banks is going to win. Bayley decides, you know what, I'm going to have to do what I did at Brooklyn. Puts her on the top rope, goes for that reverse Hurricane Rana. And in one of the most incredible reversals I've probably ever seen, Sasha Banks counters this reverse Hurricane Rana, stands back up, Bayley's there, she doesn't see that Sasha Banks is up, she ties the bow, she turns into Sasha Banks, boom! Sasha Banks gives her a Bayley to belly, turnabout's fair play, and 1, 2, kick out by Bayley. And we move into the last dying seconds of the match, and these two women are just fighting, and you don't know when it's going to end. You literally don't know. You have no idea how this is going to end. Bayley, out of nowhere, locks in a weird armbar, like a cross arm breaker, sort of a bit of both. She locks in. There's 8 seconds left on the clock. She locks in, and you can see Sasha Banks trying to fight it, and in the end, you see, because the camera is perfectly positioned for this, you see her face, and she goes, yeah, I'm tapping. Because she can't tap, because both her arms, one of them is between Bayley's legs, and the other one's Bayley's got on her hand. Sasha Banks nods at the referee ding ding ding, and then 3 seconds later, ding ding ding, Bayley retains 3-2 over Sasha Banks. I'm going to say the same thing I said in my NXT Brooklyn review of this match. Go and watch it! Do whatever you can, but go and watch it. Because this has to be one of the best Iron Man matches. I honestly think this is better than the Triple H Rock one. I think it's better than the Chris Benoit Kurt Angle one. I'm a Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle fan. I think this is better than the Cena Orton one. There's been a lot of Iron Man matches. In fact, no, this is the 10th Iron Man match, so there hasn't been a lot. This match was excellent. It was so excellent. And again, as I said earlier, do I think it was better than the first one? I dropped my sheet. Do I think it was better than the first one? I'll decide that towards the end of the year. But in rating it, 5 stars. Perfect. Wow. Stunning, emotional. I teared up towards the end. To be honest, I feel like the bit I teared up towards the end, but there was a bit towards the end where you see all the NXT guys on the stage clapping, and you see Stephanie and Hunter, Triple H, and Lita and Charlotte and Becky and Finn Balor and Samoa Joe and the Vaudevillains, and I think Blake and Murphy, and some other people, and you see them all clapping, and you see Sasha Banks and Bayley. Sasha Banks gets out of the ring and is given a bouquet of flowers, and so is Bayley, and Sasha Banks breaks down in tears. And I was just like, that is wrestling. Wrestling is pure emotion. And at that point, I started to get teary. I was like, that's probably the last time I'm ever going to see Sasha Banks in NXT. But she went down swinging. She went down in an absolute fight. And I could not ask for any more from probably the greatest NXT Women's Champion there's ever been. I hope she goes to the main roster and just she's on the main roster now. I hope she storms the main roster. I hope that she gets booked much more strongly than she has been. And I hope in a few years' time we do get these classics. I want Bayley, Sasha Banks at WrestleMania. I honestly do. I want Sasha Banks and Becky. And we can't, again, Becky Lynch and Charlotte are just as important in this. So is Alexa Bliss, Carmella. These women really try. Emma, Paige, of course, really kind of started it, to be honest. And incredible event. I loved the giving of the bouquet of flowers because it wasn't over the top celebration. It should have been a celebration because these two women had the first main event Divas match in NXT, but they also had the first NXT Women's Iron Man match. So you had to look at it like that. It was a celebration of those two women's passion, desire, and want for this business. And they both got a bouquet of flowers for it, and other nice bouquets of flowers. You see Sasha Banks crying, Triple H gets in the ring, gives Bayley her bouquet of flowers, hugs her, you see Bayley crying, Bayley's got the belt, and that's how you end the show. That didn't go right. My final grade for NXT Takeover Respect is an 8 out of 10. I think every match was at least good. I think that the Asuka match and the Tyler Breeze and Cruz match, while still decent, I just don't think they were as good as the other matches. But watch the show overall and watch that main event. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Revolver Ocelot. Like, comment, and subscribe for more. The main event was quality.